Back with Andrew hosting the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show on 970 AM WFLA. The real estate expert in Tampa, Andrew Duncan of the Duncan Duo, 10 a.m. on 970 WFLA.
So we're back, continuing our conversation with Dave Liniger, the chairman and founder of the REMAX organization. Dave, I wanted to let you wrap up that last thought you had about, kind of that supply and demand curve scenario.
Well, the thing that's going to help buyers right now is that with prices recovering so much, for instance, in Tampa, a 20% increase in less than a year, it means that more people are not underwater. They're getting back to even, and a lot of people just would not sell and walk away when they were upside down.
Yeah, I actually talked about that on the show a lot. We set a website up. In fact, it's a website that several REMAX brokers share. It's at guaranteedsale.com. If you're out there and you have attempted to sell your home the last couple of years and you weren't able to, check out guaranteedsale.com. You'll get a free report. It pulls in the data from Bank of America, Trulia, Zillow, all the major real estate evaluation websites to give you a range, to give you a feel for if your value is coming back. But that is correct. In Tampa, we're seeing more and more people with the ability to sell.
And with the ability to sell, that also means they've got the ability to buy. And so you've got additional inventory in a certain price range coming on, and you've got a demand in a higher price range.
And so talking about the market, upcoming for this coming year, I actually read your letter to Obama and Romney on air back during the election. So since then, there's obviously been some developments. There's been some response, to some of the items that you addressed in there. What's been your impression of how the government's decisions are impacting real estate over the last few months?
Well, we were right at the fiscal cliff, and they finally passed a couple things, the Mortgage Debt Relief Act and so on for short sales got extended, so nobody got hurt there. It keeps short sales as a real possibility for the next year. Nobody is tinkering with the deductibility of interest on mortgage debt. That may, of course, come about. Realistically speaking, nothing happened on it. When it does come about, it's going to have a fairly small impact. There's a huge battle coming in the next 6 to 8 weeks over where to cut expenses. The Democrats, of course, they don't want to cut butter, and the Republicans don't want to cut guns. And so somehow they're going to have to negotiate, which is unheard of. In Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I don't think there's much negotiation, at least as far as our experience. So let's talk about the Mortgage Debt Forgiveness Act. For those listeners out there that kind of don't understand what this is, if you're in a property that you're underwater on and you need to do a short sale, there was a law that was supposed to expire that got extended now through the end of this year, that if you short sell your primary residence, and there's some terms and conditions to this, but in a nutshell, if you short sell your primary residence, you used to get a 1099, so you'd have to pay income tax on the forgiven debt. Now that's waived, so you're not paying the income tax to the IRS on the debt that's forgiven, which promotes and motivates a lot of people to continue going down that path, which is usually the right path for them and for the bank to do a short sale rather than go to foreclosure.
Yeah, and see, that's incredibly important because, if you can't afford to be in the house, how can you afford the tax bill on the interest that was waived?
Right.
And it's just logical sense that, we're trying to straighten out the real estate mess, and Congress did extend that for another year. So that certainly is going to bode well for our industry.
Do you think the increase of capital gains taxes and investment income, do you think it's going to have much impact on real estate investment in some of these markets?
I don't believe it's going to be a tax-driven situation out there. The truth of the matter is people have money to invest, and they have to invest it someplace. CDs and money market is giving no return whatsoever. There's a tremendous concern right now on whether the stock market is overheated or not, or whether the bull market has made as long a run as it can. And then you go back to real estate. And the truth of the matter is, prices have never been better on residential or commercial properties for the last several years. And so investors that are in it for the long term and looking at return on their investment of 0.5% or 1% before taxes on CDs, where do you put your money?
Right. It's real estate. That's the answer. And I think what I see is, I think that, again, if you're getting taxed on a gain, guess what? You made a gain. I mean, I'd much rather make a gain and give more of it away than not make any gain at all and not pay tax. I mean, some people get so bent out of shape on the tax scenario that it takes away the focus of, hey, you actually made money. But I think the other thing is, I think we'll see a lot more 1031 exchanges. I think people, instead of taking that gain, they'll start to get more creative with deferring it.
Well, the 1031 is an excellent method to do so. However, I had lunch 2 days ago with a local manager for Schwab for the Denver metro area, and he was talking about how unbelievably busy they were the last week of the year with gift giving, selling a stock, trying to get their gains out, but also trying to balance out gains with losses, because a lot of people who have a portfolio of stocks win on some, lose on some, and they try to manage their taxes by selling the winners and the losers at the same time.
Yeah, that is definitely a common year-end tactic, something we looked at too. So we're going to continue this conversation with Dave Liniger, the chairman and founder of REMAX. We're going to talk next after the break about some of the growth with REMAX and why nobody in the world sells more real estate than REMAX, as well as talk about Dave's focus on improving the real estate market and loss of a great leader in the real estate industry, Howard Brinton. We'll talk about that after a quick news break here on 970 WFLA.